Greetings, well wishes, and salutations. I'd like to welcome you all back to the Nuclear Dad Blogcast, where we focus on the three pillars of fatherhood: family, finance, and faith. And of course, this episode is sponsored by www.thenucleardad.com, home of the Daditude Journal and the Romance Journal, both available on Amazon. In true Nuclear Dad fashion, I want you to sit back, relax, take your shoes off, put your feet up, get yourself something good to eat, get yourself something cool to drink, and enjoy the ride. Now, in today's episode, we are going to focus on gossip, or better known clinically as Chatty Patty syndrome, Chatimus Patimus. I want to delve deep into this topic of gossip and why, as men, we should avoid it. And we're going to draw on the wisdom of some of the greatest minds in history to guide this conversation. And we'll explore why men should engage in gossip, its feminine characteristics, the impact of celebrity news and online conversations, and some biblical references associated with the negativity of gossip. We'll also discuss options and resources for men to stay focused instead of engaging in these lower level conversations and different types of content. And back in the day, we had something called barbershop talk, where men talked about real life situations, they got advice, and they got insight on how they should navigate the journey of life from a masculine perspective. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore, though. Now, in my humble opinion, I don't think men should engage in gossip. Now let's start by understanding why we should avoid it. Because gossip, in essence, is the trivial chatter about other people's lives. Now, the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius believed that engaging in such idle talk distracts us from our duties and personal growth. And when we gossip, we not only tarnish our own reputation, but we waste precious time that we can't get back, that could have been spent on other more noble pursuits, such as self-improvement. And if you're new to the channel or you just haven't been paying attention thus far, one of the main goals here is to cultivate self-development and help you become a super version of yourself. Now, the great Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people." And this highlights the importance of focusing our discussions on meaningful and constructive topics, because gossip can severely damage one's reputation and relationships. When we engage in gossip, we're essentially engaging in unproductive and often harmful behavior that not only affects those we talk about, but it also reflects poorly on ourselves. It can create a cycle of negativity that's hard to break. Now imagine being a guy that's known for running his mouth. Depending on what circle you involve yourself in, that could be dangerous, not only for your reputation, but for your life, especially if you come from where I come from. Once upon a time, Martin Luther King Jr. pointed out that gossip creates division and mistrust. It spreads negativity and can lead to conflict. This is especially important in today's interconnected world, where our words can quickly reach a wide audience. So to foster a community of respect and unity, it's essential to steer clear of any type of gossip and instead promote positive dialogue, like the Nuclear Dad. Engaging in gossip can erode trust and create an environment of suspicion and hostility. Instead, let's try focusing on building relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Because over here, this is all about brotherhood, being your brother's keeper. And how can you be your brother's keeper if you're known for talking about your brother behind his back? We should be grown enough and comfortable enough to address things in a civil manner, face to face, without the backbiting. Historically, gossip has often been labeled as a feminine trait. Socrates once pointed out that society traditionally associates gossip with women, viewing it as idle chatter. And the stereotype has deep roots, but it's important to recognize that gossip is not inherently feminine. It's a human behavior that can be found across all demographics. True wisdom and strength lies in thoughtful, constructive conversations regardless of gender. Men should strive to embody virtues of wisdom and strength by avoiding petty talk and small conversations. Because if it's not constructive, if it doesn't build someone up, it tears someone down. So what's even the point? But I digress. Now, Susan B. Anthony emphasized that assigning gossip as feminine traits discourages men from introspection and meaningful communication. Men should break free from this type of stereotype by engaging in discussion that uplift and educate, embracing conversations that build rather than tear down. And by doing so, men can develop a sense of purpose and direction in their conversations, moving away from the trivial and towards the meaningful. This shift not only benefits individual growth, but also contributes to a more positive and constructive environment. And while the wonderful Susan B. Anthony said that this is a misnomer, that this is a feminine trait, well, that's how I was raised. That's the thought process that I have, that men don't walk around gossiping. Men don't spend hours on the phone talking about what other men and other women are doing. It's just not something that men do. At least not in my eyes. No shot at the good Susan, but sorry, Susan, men don't behave that way. At least they shouldn't, in my book. But who am I? I'm just a guy talking in the microphone, giving my thoughts and my opinions on how I perceive the world and how it's changing. And I wish things could go back to the way they used to. Even though they can't, doesn't mean I can't carve a new lane and set precedents and establish boundaries and draw that line in the sand and reestablish that old code of men amongst men and how to play this game of life and follow certain rules and stick your chest out and walk with your head up and be proud and be confident and not do things that does not amplify what it is to be a man. Now, let's switch gears and talk about all these TMZ wannabes and the impact of celebrity news in online conversations. And in today's digital age, celebrity news has become a significant part of our online conversations. Neil Postman warned that we are amusing ourselves to death with trivialities. Celebrity gossip dominates our media. It reduces the quality of discourse. This focus on superficial matters distracts us from important conversations about social issues and personal development. It's easy to get caught up in the latest celebrity scandal or rumor, but these distractions can prevent us from engaging in more meaningful and impactful discussions. See, I'm under the belief that we are under the false notion that these celebrities are a part of our peer group. And I think it goes way back to the tabloid magazines, the gossip journalists, and the TMZs. People like Wendy Williams and Joan Rivers and shows like Entertainment Tonight and the E! Channel back in the day has fed people all this information about celebrities, which doesn't really serve a purpose for anything except for mindless consumerism of non-important entertainers who could care less about us because they don't even know we exist, other than the money that we give them to support their efforts. And honestly, they wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire. And back to my original point, if you look at the original consumers of this type of entertainment and news, it was women. Brené Brown has noted that constant exposure to gossip and celebrity news fosters a culture of comparison and judgment, aka cancel culture. It can lead to anxiety and depression as people measure their worth against curated images of celebrity lives. This culture of comparison is toxic and can have serious implications for our mental health. To improve mental health, we must cultivate a culture of authenticity and meaningful connection. Instead of focusing on the lives of celebrities, we should focus on our own lives and the lives of those around us, building genuine, real relationships and engaging in discussions that matter. Now, I asked myself in prepping this show, what does God have to say about this? Believe it or not, there are some biblical references to the negativity associated with gossip. The Bible offers clear guidance on the dangers of gossip. Proverbs 16:28 states, "A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends." Gossip is inherently divisive. It creates strife and conflict, tearing apart relationships and communities. Ephesians 4:29 further advises, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up." Our words should uplift and unite. When we speak, we should aim to build up those around us, offering support and encouragement rather than tearing them down with gossip. James 1:26 warns, "Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless." Now I want you to think about that. I'm going to say that again. People who cannot keep a tight rein on their lips deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Now, according to all of these scriptures that I just read, these passages, these verses, if you are a gossiper, you are a pervert who means ill will and is a detriment to the community. So take this into consideration when we're looking at all of this content, that all it does is exploit content for clicks and views based on celebrity gossip and all of the ills of the world, talking about people's dirty laundry. Now, there is a place for it. There is a place for exposure. But when we go on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hour tirades about this person's sexuality, oh, I heard they did this, I heard they did that. Well, if you have all this information, give it to the police. Become a personal investigator. Get a press pass and actually do some real journalism. Because if not, you're just a gossiper. You're not serving the community except for in the purpose of serving yourselves for money. The ability to control our speech is a mark of maturity and integrity. It reflects our inner character and values. By refraining from gossip, we demonstrate self-control and respect for others. Now, the Bible teachings emphasize the power of words and the importance of using them wisely. And I am under the belief that if we knew the power of our words, we'd use them a lot less frequently, a lot less carelessly. And as the book says, in the beginning, there was the word. Can I get an amen? Let's discuss some alternatives to gossip and keeping focused on higher level conversations. Because as the saying goes, idle hands do the devil's work. What about idle minds? Think about it. Stephen Covey suggests begin with the end in mind. Set personal and professional goals and engage in activities that align with these objectives. Reading, skill building, and continuous learning are vital. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. When we set goals and work towards them, we naturally move away from trivial conversations and toward those that help us grow and achieve our objectives. The great Dale Carnegie emphasized the importance of engaging in meaningful conversations, whether it's through mentorship or constructive discussion. Aim to learn and grow from each interaction. Practice active listening and empathy to deepen your connections. Engaging in meaningful conversation allows us to build stronger relationships and gain valuable insights and perspectives. Arnold Schwarzenegger highlighted that physical fitness is crucial for mental clarity and focus. Regular exercise not only improves health, but also fosters discipline and determination. Find a sport or activity that you enjoy and make it a part of your routine. Physical activity can serve as a productive outlet for energy and stress, helping to keep the mind clear and focused. Mahatma Gandhi believed in being the change you wish to see in the world. Volunteering and participating in community events creates a sense of purpose and belonging. It shifts our focus from trivial matters to making a positive impact. By getting involved in our communities and contributing to the greater good, we can find fulfillment and purpose, steering clear of the negativity of gossip. Now, we've covered a lot today, from understanding the harm of gossip to exploring alternatives that enrich our lives. Now, let's recap. 1. Gossip damages reputation and relationships. 2. It's often labeled wrongly, but labeled as a feminine trait. Celebrity gossip degrades the quality of online discourse and conversations. Engaging in personal development, meaningful conversations, physical activity, and community involvement helps avoid these types of behavior. And the Bible clearly condemns gossip. And I'm under the impression that because the Bible is such an unpopular conversational topic in mainstream media that it's all a product of devilishness. And I don't care how you say it, I'm going to call it out. Like it or not, you ain't got to listen. But the people that it makes sense to, it's going to resonate with. And I'm going to keep kicking out this content that is meaningful and has substance and has depth and is good food for your spirit, for your mind, for your emotions, and for your family, because that's what I do. Remember, great minds discuss ideas, so choose to elevate your conversation and focus on what truly matters. For further reading and growth, consider these different resources. A few books is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. There's online courses on platforms like Coursera and Udemy to keep your mind focused. There's apps like Headspace for mindfulness and Habitica for productivity. Try to find a support group if you need to. Local community centers and online forums focused on personal development. Things like the Nuclear Dad keeps your mind off of these trivial conversations and these low-level activities, low vibrational activities. Because over here we're going up, baby. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Share your experiences with gossip and how you stay focused on higher level conversations. And thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for our next episode of the Nuclear Dad Blogcast. Now, that's all I got for you. And I'm not one to toot my own horn, but this was very fun. This episode is a banger. But I'm keeping them short. Small, condensed pockets of high-level conversation and information that you can use and implement in your everyday life. Stay away from those gossipers, man. Stay away from those backbiters. You know, they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Those backstabbers. But in closing, I want you to remember a few things. I want you to remember your mission. I want you to remember to stay focused. I want you to remember to stay passionate. I want you to remember to stay grounded. I want you to remember to stay diligent. I want you to remember to stay vigilant. And most importantly, I want you to remember to stay cool. Nuclear Dad.